No, Rick is behind.
Rick's taking up the rear. You got Daryl in the middle, and the truck up ahead with the guns and
exactly
what was it? What kind of gun was in the back?
I think it was an M4 turret, something like that. It's a turret. Okay. You can call it a turret. I think it's the correct thing because I don't know if they said it's an M4 Browning or whatever it is.
I just want to call it a machine gun. Like he's just
you could call it a machine gun. I don't see why you shouldn't call it a machine gun or a turret.
Yeah. So it was a pretty good scene where he opens up the back of the truck, starts shooting. He's like, okay, well now they can't just follow him. Daryl goes off to the side. You're like, did he get hit?
He skids right a bit.
Yeah. Rick just doesn't care. Rick's just swerving, and at one point he's like, you know what? I'm just going at them full speed, and then darts out of the way at the last second, and Daryl takes him out. Daryl's tailing him this whole time.
That was so badass. It was like they have this like chemistry going on this chase.
Yeah, I was worried their chemistry was going to be lost after Daryl
he killed the kid.
Just killed everybody that Rick wanted to let live. But it seems like they got a good thing going.
Yeah.
And however cheesy this was, I still really liked it. It was a nice, quick, tight little scene. We got Rick driving right up to the guy, jumping into the truck.
Yeah.
And just no mercy, just stabs him in the gut.
Yeah.
So brutal and kicks him out.
And
then the truck goes off a little cliff, like a little ledge. And what I really loved is they didn't even try to pretend like Rick might be in danger.
But they did show Daryl's face.
Well, yeah, Daryl comes over and is like...
He's concerned, right?
He's like, oh no. And then Rick just comes out of the bush and is like, hey.
I'm good.
It's a little messed up. It looks like his hair's a little
not even a single drop of blood, I think, either.
But just the fact that they didn't even try. It's like, yeah, we know Rick's going to be okay. This is just supposed to be a fun little moment where they, make sure the mission is a success.
Well, they should. They should capture that. They did everything right. They did most things right so far in this episode. So
yeah. What I don't really understand is the logistics of all this. Like, what were Daryl and Rick doing to begin with? Like, how did they know to chase this car down?
They were on the way to the base.
They were just lucky?
Well, it's not one of their cars. They knew. I think by logic, Ezekiel and I think it's when you judge by a failsafe in a way that Ezekiel's army is unsuccessful at the moment. They only have one car leaving that compound.
Okay.
They figured, well, they can't get back to the sanctuary because they might have something valuable. And they knew the gun was there from what their informant said before Daryl shot him.
Yeah.
So I think
that's true. Yeah,
it's mathematically it adds up.
So how did Carol and Ezekiel and that whole team know to go to this base?
They just had to go to they found out. Well, okay, so season premiere, they find out where all the compounds are.
Okay.
And they know, and they even had. I remember seeing Gavin's name at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was just doing the tree or whatever it is, but they all have their own territory.
Yeah.
But Dwight is feeding them the right information. So when the kid says, at Gavin's base, they know where it is because they have the inside. So this actually, the logistics are working out so far in The Walking Dead.
Okay, a little bit of good timing too.
Right.
But that's fine.
Oh,
I want to see
definitely,
it play out this way.
I agree.
And that's the last we see of those two.
Right.
The team's back.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get Carol, Jerry, and Ezekiel again. They're tired. They're trudging through the woods here. This is when Ezekiel's this is when he breaks character. He starts saying how this is definitely when he says he's just some guy. Talks about how he met Shiva when he was working as a zookeeper.
Right.
She was in trouble at one point, and he jumped down to the pit. Actually, there was another flashback at some point where he's
it wasn't at this point. They had it at the beginning.
Yeah, he's talking to Carol again, and at one point I was like, what? Like, they made it out of this situation fine? And I see that Ezekiel's leg is okay. It's like, okay, another flashback. Just maybe a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But he does have this conversation with Carol about where he met Shiva. Did you know before this episode where he had met the tiger?
But that was mentioned.
Had they mentioned it already? That he was a zookeeper?
It was when Carol's first visit to the kingdom. When she was,
I just wanted to make sure because I know I read about it in the comics, but I don't know if I mentioned it in the show. I get them confused.
It's not the first time he reveals how he saved Shiva.
Yeah,
it's how he says that even the animal could turn on him any time too. He accepts that risk, but.
Yeah,
it hasn't been the case, and I don't know if I help a tiger and it doesn't attack me and it accepts me as its master. I definitely feel invincible the whole time too.
Yeah, I'd feel pretty good about myself.
Yeah. You have an apex predator on your side.
Yeah.
So,
and
CGI apparently, which upsets everybody.
It upset us too. Speaking of Shiva, we have not seen Shiva. We don't know where she is. What's up with her? We'd probably see a dead tiger body if there was one lying around.
Probably.
So nothing yet. She ran off. She escaped. We assume. We did get that lingering shot of her at the very beginning of the episode, which I found kind of weird.
Well, that was in the flashback, though, wasn't it?
It was in the flashback, yeah.
Yeah.
But I found it kind of weird that they just kept the camera on her because it didn't look particularly good.
The CGI?
The CGI, it didn't look bad. I mean, it looks way better than, anything I can do. Or anything that we've seen in the past in other television shows. They definitely put a lot of money into it, but every millisecond that passed by, I was like, this is just the show's budget, just being flushed down the
I
toilet.
just find it weird that how it's... because they usually say CGI is cheaper than practical effects.
Sometimes, because
For gore, I guess.
No plan. Like, you can make CGI... With practical effects, you get like one shot with it.
Right.
And then you got to
or
reset.
several,
And,
as many times as you can. It's great it's Hero here. I mean, like, we're not like... He has the resources.
It costs a lot of money to do, and if you mess up on the first shot, you got to do it again. That's your whole budget, going over it again. CGI, you get it right the first time. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So how shouldn't it be like... I always think the mentality is, I guess, when you create a character, it's a lot more upkeep on CGI as opposed to like gore or splattering of blood, altering special effects on a face or something.
I mean, that's the conversation we had a little earlier. Is the right way to introduce a completely CGI character? You need to, like an animal like this, you get a good mix going. You get the CGI for the scenes you cannot do without CGI.
Mm-hmm.
You get a real live animal,
right,
for all the scenes where that would be practical,
right. Well,
then you get the animatronic. You build that little thing for all the scenes where it's going to be close up. You can't really tell. It's like tiger's paw or like a jaw just getting into some walker.
Well, come to think of it, the first time you're introduced to Shiva, like the head is real. The head is an animatronic.
I don't remember that.
I do remember. I remember seeing the behind the scenes. Like it's the head is an animatronic.
Yeah, but it didn't look like it.
They have to match it with the rest of the body because obviously it's green. The rest of it's green. Because like the actor is not actually petting Shiva. The head is there, but he's not actually petting Shiva.
Yeah.
So like when the roar comes along, it's the head is actually practical, but the rest of the body isn't.
See, but that's the thing. It's like they didn't mix it very well, in my opinion.
You said it looked good. I remember you.
It looked good for CGI.
There you go.
It didn't look good for it being a practical effect.
Okay. I'm fine.
I thought it was CGI, just like pretty good CGI, but I could still tell, and apparently I couldn't tell. You have to. There's a certain mix. I don't think they got the mix down.
No, yeah, and I think I was over I was a bit bitter when it started last season with the whole tiger being CGI and everything, and I just accepted it because they chose to go the route that they did because I guess it's practical for them.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get a tiger. You're not going to get a real tiger to do this. And if you do, it's good. You can't though because
you can't as in like you could have one. You could have one lying on the patio as it was.
But it's like that's boring. Like I know what like if you want a tiger to do the things that Shiva's going to do,
where like roar at the right time.
Yeah, you're going to get. You're going to have it be CGI. Otherwise, you're not going to get the kind of show you want. You're going to get a really watered down version of all the things that she can do because you just can't do it.
Right. All in all, to say, I mean, you just. To a certain degree, I understand why you have a CGI tiger. You're disappointed in a way too because you want everything to be as practical as possible. But I never understood the fact that having a CGI tiger would have costed more than composing an animatronic one or to have a real one on set. So what people keep saying was on the internet right now, they're all saying that finally the budget is done with the tiger. It's the reason why whatever happens next is the fact that they're going to save because you don't have to put any more work into the tiger.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, to think that the show has budgetary restrictions, I mean, they do, but they shouldn't.
Especially when the channel is exclusively to that. What else are they showing on on AMC? Not what else? They're showing they're rehashing
stuff,
films.
but I mean, they're doing a lot better than they were 10 years ago.
Absolutely, because right now, because they're re-showing, they're showing reruns of Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul's still there.
Madman.
Sorry,
Madman.
Oh, Madman's still on it? No,
it's not. But you just said they're re-showing episodes
of Madman or
of Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, yeah.
So why they could re-show episodes of Mad Men? They could do whatever they
want.
But
isn't that HBO? They didn't have rights to showing
never.
Mad Men.
It was AMC.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm not familiar, so I never watched Mad Men. Then there's another one of the active ones. Well, there's Preacher.
Yeah, but they're just they're definitely not pulling in the same numbers. Maybe all of them combined are getting somewhere close. But it's Walking Dead's making way more money than it's spending on Walking Dead.
Definitely. Into the Badlands actually is the other one I was trying to remember.
Yeah,
I like that one too.
But it's
hard to imagine they have budgetary restrictions. What you're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't think just because they got rid of a the tiger. Spoilers: the tiger's dead. That they're really going to start spending. You're not going to see that money being spent somewhere else. You're just going to see the smallest amount of money being spent on whatever they can do. And if they can get away with doing it for cheap, they're going to do it for cheap, as we've seen for the last 7 seasons.
I'd be more upset about the whole green screen backdrops as opposed to having a CGI tiger.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason in this world why when Rick was standing on top of that pile of garbage, there was a backdrop that looked so poor.
Yeah, I know.
With a show that makes this much money and has this many viewers, and it's supposed to have like the best of the best working on it. You got trash like that.
It fit the theme. He was in a garbage venue.
Yeah. Speaking of them, didn't Rick mention that he was going to go and see the garbage people in this episode?
No, I don't remember. I don't recall him talking about it.
I'm pretty sure he did.
I hope it's just a
he did. He did.
He did.
He mentioned to Daryl.
When then?
He mentioned to Daryl, like at the end of their little scene together. He said something about. Daryl said something about, it's like, "You sure you want to go and speak to them after what they did?" And he said yes. It was at some point.
I don't recall. Okay.
Well, it was. It happened.
Okay. Well, I'm not denying.
I don't remember the exact conversation they had, but
it
was very heavily insinuated that he was going to speak to the garbage people.
I just really hope he's just gonna light a match, and then that whole thing just catches on fire, and that's it. That's all I want him to do. That's
the big garbage fire. I hope he takes them all out. I don't want to see him again.
Me neither.
But they're definitely going to come up in this season, and now
but maybe they'll be redeemable. Who knows? I mean, this episode's a big turning point for us. I think for what we think.
Well, it's getting my hopes up now. I'm excited for the next episode. I hope I don't get brought down.
Right.
So I started talking about what Ezekiel was saying about saving the tiger, about how he had to decide what kind of man he wanted to be, if he was going to be. Because he said it wasn't just instinct. He didn't just jump into the pen to save Shiva. He had to think about it. He weighed the outcomes. And it was like, well, he could get mauled to death, or he could just not jump in and she would die. I don't really know what the issue was down there, but it was some sort of life-threatening situation.
Yeah. He just cared about the tiger.
Yeah, well, he didn't know what would happen if he went in, but he knew how he would feel about himself if he didn't.
Right.
If he didn't try. And that's when he knew. He was like, well, if you're asked to be the hero, you be the hero.
I like that quote a lot. That was, that's a very good line. I think that's one to remember. Like next to "Yet I Smile" in a way. So it's Well, "Yet I Smile" was repetitive, but this is like when you're asked to be the hero. But like I feel like not everybody could deliver on that, and he has trouble delivering on that. As we see later.
I mean, it took the people around him to help him. And
right.
He's still not out of the woods. I mean, I don't know how he's going to be for the rest of this season, but I'm sure he'll find his inspiration somewhere.
Yeah,
probably
he's
through
broken.
Carol.
He's definitely broken.
Yeah. And so all this to say that they are now in a pretty bad situation, not unlike Shiva was. I guess metaphorically.
Well,
they're in a little pit. They're in a little pit. There's a bunch of... Yeah, but she wasn't in a toxic waste pit with a bunch of walkers. But some pit with some hazard. I kind of like the way this whole set piece looked.
Right.
Just the barrels with the green waste... the walkers that were kind of melted and mutilated a little bit.
They're also very pruny.
They were very pruny, and you see when they get stabbed or cut, it's like a yellow liquid that pours out of them, like oozes out, like it's just full of pus. And it was pretty good. They look good and they look scary. It's like, oh, I don't want to even trudge through that.
No, some of them had no choice. Toxic waste.
Yeah, it was. And I thought it's like, I don't know what's going to happen here, but then Shiva jumps in. Out of nowhere again. Just a lot of really good timing.
She's really well trained. It's a shame.
And saves them.
Yeah, momentarily. He was wasting the fact that... It was kind of wasted for the fact that he was watching her die. It's like, well, right now you should be taking advantage to go, but we can understand how attached he was to the tiger.
Yeah, that was the thing. So Shiva takes out a few walkers and then just gets... much like the horse in episode 1, just gets trampled over them, and then they start eating her, and she's
animals
roaring.
Don't have luck in the Walking Dead at all.
I had a lot of trouble with this because I thought really in real life Shiva could just paw at them, knock 5 of them away with one swipe,
right?
And
run away.
Like if she I don't know if she gets bit. I don't know if that infection affects her the same way as it would a human.
Right. They didn't explore that earlier.
Yeah, they haven't really yet.
because you see like
Because every animal that gets bit just ends up getting eaten.
or dead. Yeah, like even the deer. Remember the very first deer you see that Daryl kind of kills. Well, like
Yeah.
it was actually taken by a walker. It didn't get back up. It get reanimated, right?
It didn't.